Hey guys, grab your pencils and an eraser today because we're drawing an apple blossom. If you look at an apple blossom, you'll notice that it's almost white with just a little bit of pink details. So when we are tracing our guidelines here, we want to make sure that we use a really lightweight, light press to our pencil so that we don't have a dark gray line running across our beautiful flower when it's complete. So pressing lightly, you're going to work with a circle. Make it as big as you'd like the apple blossom to be. Since we're only drawing one, even though they're a fairly small flower, I'll make mine pretty big so that I can add some detail. I always go around a few times when I'm making a circle. This helps me get it as round as possible. So here's my circle. Next, we're going to put a dot in the center, as close to the center as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to split the circle up into a star. So first draw a line straight down the middle to that dot. From there, I find it's easiest to try to draw an upside down Y or a peace symbol. And that makes it easier for me to be able to split this larger area up as well in half as I can, going the other way, making 5 as equal as we can pieces of this circle. Are they perfect? Nope, and they don't have to be. Nothing has to be perfect, especially in nature. There's so many differences in each flower, in each thing, that nothing has to be perfect. So here we are, working with our apple blossom. Again, pressing really, really lightly with your pencil. Draw an inner circle that goes around the inner dot right there. This is the center of our blossom. Great. Now we're going to work with this line right here. From the edge of your circle, you're going to make 2 lines that go on either side of that longer line that you've made. From there, let's just connect it with a big circle that goes up, touches the edge of the outer circle that you made, and then rings its way back around to the other side. There's petal number 1. We'll move right to the next one. We'll do the same thing. 2 lines, one on either side of that lower right line, and connect it with a circle. This time, however, your circle will probably go behind the other one at some point. So just stop drawing it and pretend it goes behind. We'll do the same thing here. And again, if your petal goes behind this second petal that you've drawn, just keep going and pretend. Okay, so we'll draw our line on either side. And then I'll actually start going this way so you can see what I mean. I'm drawing my circle, but my circle has hit this other circle. So I'm just going to imagine that it keeps going and then continue drawing it when it comes back out from behind that other petal. Now before we just go in a circle, let's go back over to this one. This is because I don't want my flower to look too even. I don't want the right side of every petal to be going behind the other one as if it's like this perfect fan. It needs to be a little bit not perfect. So instead of going in a circle, I'll just skip back over to this petal first. Draw my line on either side of that longer line, and then draw my circle. Comes up and hits that outer circle. Comes back down. This time, mine didn't happen to go behind the other one, but that's okay. Yours may have, and just go right behind. And then we'll do the very top petal. Chances are This petal is going to be going behind both of these circles. So just be careful and make your circle the best you can. Beautiful. Now carefully go back with your eraser and let's erase all the guidelines. Let's erase the star and that outer circle. Anything you can still see. Okay, we're done with the eraser. No more erasing. Everything else from here on out is going to be great. So let's add some petal folds. The way apple blossoms grow, they're not perfectly flat circles. So we're going to make the illusion like they're kind of folding up on themselves. You can do this however you'd like. If you don't want to do it exactly how I'm doing it, that's fine. But I'm just going to show you some ways to make it look like they're folding up. One way is to come along the edge of a petal and make like a hill or a really loose M that comes from one edge and goes to the other. You want to make sure all your lines are really smooth. Lots of curves, no angles. So this is making it look like this petal is curving up like that. You can make another petal look almost flat by just making a nice squiggly line down one side. We can make another petal look as if it's curling up on the side. And all we'll do for that is make another slightly curvy line that goes from down one edge, but you leave a little bit more space here than you would just like this one. I'm going to make this one fold up on itself just like the other. And then I'll make this one just coming up on the side again. You can do yours however you like. Just give each petal a little bit of some sort of fold. Now we'll work with some leaves. This is almost all the pencil work we're going to be doing because from now on we're going to work with our color. But let's add some leaves first. I'm going to add 3 leaves. You can choose however many leaves you want. I'm just going to make some slight little S curves here. One coming out this way, one coming down this way, and one coming from behind this petal. Now I'll make each one a leaf by thickening it up and coming to a point at the top of that curve. So there's one leaf. You don't have to make smooth edges. You can make them slightly curvy, like this. Or you can even make them a little bit jagged, because apple leaves can be a little bit sharp. So now I have 3 leaves. They're all different. You choose which one you like best and do them all the same. Okay, from there, let's switch to coloring so that we can really add some detail. We're going to use our darkest pink. Now for this apple blossom, there's going to be a lot of space that's left white. But in order to get that nice detail that we need a dark pink and at least 1, maybe 2 shades of lighter pink. I've even thrown a peach in here. I might use it, I might not, we'll see. Whatever shades of pink you have, go ahead and try to use them all. But we'll start with the darkest. So on an apple blossom, the back side of the leaf is really a dark pink, whereas the front is really white. So any part of the leaf that's folded up on itself is going to be dark. So let's color those areas in first. You don't have to color them in solid. I would outline them solid, and then you can just color them in with these nice little detail lines. You can leave some white space. It doesn't have to be totally colored in. I'll do the same on all the edges that I've folded in on any of the leaves, outlining and then adding a little bit of color. Now switching to a little bit lighter pink, I'm going to outline the rest of the petals. Once I've darkened the outline of all my petals, I'm going to use this still medium pink, and I'm going to go back and add shadows. So anywhere where a petal would go behind another piece, that would be anywhere that your circles went behind each other here. So I'll just add a little shading here, working with some circular motions, adding some light shading in this area behind here. Also over on this side. You can add some of this shading underneath where the folds would be. I'm working on each petal, thinking about where the shadows would fall. Underneath the folds of the petals, and also anywhere it goes behind. Now we're going to add some veins to these flowers, some really soft little details. So taking that same medium pink, working from the center or from the base of each of these petals, we're just going to draw little lines that go up and out toward the edge of our petal. They don't all have to be the same length. They don't even have to all start down here at the base. Just add some nice lines that go out toward the edge. This time, move your hand pretty close to the tip and use a nice firm hand. Great. Now grab your lightest shade of pink, or you can use a peach, and just add a little bit of color in random spots, not the whole petal. Just a little bit of color in a couple of spots on each petal. This is to give your eye the illusion that the whole flower is slightly pink, even though it's mostly white. Sometimes shading an apple blossom can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to switch back to my darkest and add just a little bit of the shadow to make sure that my flower petals all look cohesive. So you can do this by extending that outline a little bit from the edge of where your flowers fold, just to continue that darker color along a little ways. You can also add a few of the darker veins, just pressing lightly to add that color in throughout your flower. Great. The last thing you're going to want to do is grab that medium pink again and shade in the very, very base of your petals. Working your way into that inner circle just a little bit. Beautiful. So you can see there's a lot of colors right here in the petals, there's peach, light pink, dark pink, and white all working together to create this petal. It's really looking nice. Now the center of the petal is all yellow, and what you're going to do is take a nice dark yellow and make little ovals about this big, just oval dots. And you're going to want to do them in random directions and fill in that entire circle with yellow. Making those ovals go all different directions. And then blend the whole thing, move your hand back on the pencil, and just shade the whole thing with a light dusting of yellow to make it all come together. You should still be able to see those dark ovals in there underneath that light shading of yellow. Okay, let's color in the leaves. We'll start with our dark green and outline the entire thing, including that middle vein. And then you choose where your light is coming from. Pick a spot on the leaf that's going to be lighter than the rest and color that with your light green. It should be almost half of the leaf. I'll do it about here. The rest of your leaf you can color in with the dark, just blending it into that light green as best you can. You're really going to want to work on the blending here so that you don't have just a spot of light green. If you need to take your light green again and go back over the dark green to blend it together, you can. Make it all look like it comes together. As an artist, you really have to think about where you want the dark and light shades to go so that it looks more and more realistic. The more you practice this, the better you'll get. Don't forget to add your veins on the leaf by working your way with your dark from the center out into the leaf. Great, you'll do the same thing with the other two leaves. I'll fast forward here and you can pause and work. Great, I'm sure your apple blossom looks amazing. Now, you can leave it like this. I'm going to add just a little bit of green, like a haze behind it, just to make it stand off of the page. I'm going to come in here, fill in the white gaps with green. And then just add a little bit of shading here behind. You don't have to do this part. I'm just finishing it out with this little green haze to make it look as if it might be on a tree. You could even do light blue like the sky. You could add some sticks and make it attached to a tree. You can see how lightly I'm pressing here. And I'm not even going to go to the tip of all the leaves. I'm just adding a little bit behind the flower to give it a little background. With that, your apple blossom is complete. As an artist, noticing where the shadows and the light hits on leaves and petals or anything in nature is definitely a skill and something that you need to practice. So this is the perfect opportunity to start. Keep practicing. You'll get better and better. I just know it. I'll see you next time in the drawing class.